So welcome back guys, you are watching Rising Coders Era, and in this video we are going to see how we can implement selection sort inside Java. So we are going to write Java code for selection sort and we will have an unsorted array. After using Java code we are going to implement selection sort inside it and we will just sort the array using selection sort in ascending order. You will get the notes and source code inside the description, and here now it's time to code. So let's get started to coding part. Alright guys, so inside this video we are going to see how we can just sort an array using selection sort. So for that, suppose we are going to have an array. Okay, I'm just going to create a comment and we will have an array of so we are having this number, we are having 64, we are having 25, then we are having 12, and then we are having 22 and 11. So how can this number get sorted? So we will just try to think about it, that how this number can be sorted. Okay, so when we are going to go for the first iteration, what is going to happen, this is going to be the I value and the j is going to find the 11, then 11 is going to be replaced by 64. So 11 is going to replace by 64 in this case. So this was the first iteration, and after that we will move towards the second iteration. In second iteration, here the I value is going to be 25 and the j is going to see for the less number. Okay, and he found that 12 is the lesser number. So what is going to happen, after 11 there is going to be 12 and 25 is going to be at the 12th place. Okay, so here there is going to be 25. After that we are just going to copy again and there will be 4 iteration basically. So right now what is going to, this is going to be the I value, and here we found that 22 is lesser, so this is going to swap 22 and 25. And then there will be the last iteration and they are going to say that it is just already swapped, so we don't have to swap any value over here. So the array has been sorted. So in this way it is going to work, the selection sort is going to work. Now right now we are just going to program and we will find that the same concepts are there and this same is going to be displayed inside this terminal, or you can say at the output inside the console. So we have just created public class selection sort, the file name, and then public static void main. You know all about this. Right now we are just going to create an array inside the main part. So we are just going to create an array of integer arr is equal to, inside this we are just going to place all these numbers which are present over here. So I'm just going to copy and here we are just going to paste it. Okay, so this is first iteration, second, third, fourth. So there will be totally 4 iterations. Now we have just created an array and we are just going to create one more function which is going to display all this array. So we are going to write public static void, and here we are going to give the function name, or we call the method inside Java. So print array, and inside this we are going to pass the parameter. So we are going to pass parameters that is going to be integer of array. Now the step to print, so you can use here 2 methods. You can use here enhanced for loop. Okay, enhanced for loop will be better because it will be reducing of lines, or you can use a normal loop. You can use a for loop, means basic normal loop. So for that you can just create an integer of length which is going to store the length inside this variable. Okay, inside this variable length. So what we can do, we can just write here array dot length and you will get the length. Okay, so for that I'm just going to write system dot out dot println, and inside this we are going to write length. Okay, this is going to show the length. So we have to recall the function. So for that recall the method. So for that we can just come here, print array, and inside this we are just going to write the arr. Now you don't have to create an object for this because we have just used here void. We have just used here static, so we don't have to create an object for this. Right now we can just right click and run the code. You will find out inside the console that you will get the 5, that is the length. So 1 2 3 4 5, and 5 minus 1, that means 4 iterations are going to take by the selection sort. Now what we can do, after that we have to print all the elements present inside array one by one. So we have to write the for loop. So for integer of I, we are just going to create integer of I and we are going to start it from 0, because this is the place where there is the 0 is 0 index, at the 0 index 64 is present, and length, that is 5. So we have to print less than 5. Okay, so we have to print all these numbers. So what we are going to do, I should be less. So here I should be less than length. Okay, and I plus plus, that means it is going to increment. That means after 64 there will be 25, 25, 12, 12. After that it is going to increment in this way, so that we just have to write I plus plus. Now when we come to inside, we just have to write system dot out dot print. We are going to write here array of I, because we don't want the I value, we don't want the index number, we want the array. So array of I, and plus we have to create a space over here. So I am just going to do here one thing, that we are just going to create a space so that these numbers are going to take some space. So you will just get, right now we are just going to run the code. So system dot out dot println. Here I am just writing this because we just want some space. Now when we are just going to run the code again, and you will find out that all the numbers are printed, and you will get the space as well here. Okay, you will get the space. So this we want, you can just say it as original array. Okay, system dot out dot println, and here we can just write here original array. Okay, this will be displayed. Semicolon is really important, otherwise it is going to throw you an error. Okay, so original array, we don't have to log this length. This is just for our this line. So this is just for our understanding. So you can just write here length is equal to, basically 5 is the length. It is just showing us. So this is for our understanding purpose. Now you can use here, instead of using this loop, okay, you can just see here, instead of using this loop, you can use an enhanced for loop. So enhanced for loop is, you can use here. So for that you can just for integer number is to array, and inside this you just have to write everything which is just present over here. So we can just copy this and paste it, and then you can write this println. You can just write the println as well. Now when we are just going to run, right now there is an error that yes, what is this array? So we don't have to do this. We are just going to rename, replace it with num, and right now we are just going to run, and you will find out everything is just printed finally. Okay, you can just use this, but for right now we are just going to use the normal loop. Okay, to write the logic for selection sort, we have to write the function to perform the selection sort. So what we can do, we are just going to write public. Here again we are just going to write public, then static. We have to write the function name or the method name. So here we are just going to write selection sort is going to be the function name, but the small letter, it should start from small letter. So here for this method we are using camel case selection sort. You can see the first letter is capital of the second word. Okay, and inside this integer of array we have to pass, again create an integer of length which will hold the length value. So that we are just going to write array dot length. At the first iteration, what is going to happen, when the 64 is going to be the I, and 25 is going to be j, and j is going to be I plus 1. Okay, I plus 1. Why I plus 1? Why we want j I plus 1? Because this is the I value, and j is going to start from 25, and then it is going to reach up to the end of the point. So now we are just going to use the for loop, and that is going to be integer of from where the I is going to start. In this I is going to start from the 0 index. So we have to write here 0. It should start from 0, and where it should end. So it should end before this, because at this point 22 is going to be I and 11 is going to be j. Okay, 22 is going to be I and 11 is going to be j. So for that what we can do, we are just going to write I should be less than length. I should be less than length, and minus 1 we are going to do. Why? The length is 5, that means it is going to be it is going to cover up to 11. We want minus 1, that means it is going to come up to the 22. Then we are just going to write I plus plus, which is going to increment by 1 all the time. It is going to increment by 1. Right now we are just going to create one more loop, and integer of j should be starting from 1. Basically we are going to write here j is equal to I plus 1. We are going to write j is equal to I plus 1. The reason behind that is, if the I value is 64, the j should start from its next number. Okay, next number. So j is equal to I plus 1. If I value is 0, then j's value is going to be 0 plus 1, that means 1, and 1 index it is going to be. Okay, after that when the I value is 2, or when the I value is 1, after that it is going to be 1 plus 1, that means 2. So it is going to start from here to here. So at the end it should reach at 11. it should cover all the loop. Okay, it should cover all the numbers. So what we have to do, we have to write here j should be less than length, not -1. J should be less than length, so that it is going to cover all the loop, and j should be plus plus. That means it is going to incremented by 1. Okay, now here we have to do one thing. Now we have just completed all this, and before this we have to create an integer, and that is going to be minimum index. Okay, which is going to store the minimum index of I. Okay, we are just going to assume that I is the minimum index over here. Okay, I is the minimum index, and if here the basically if array of j, okay, array of j is going to be greater than the minimum index, array of minimum index, that is I, in this case it is I. So at this point only we need to swap it. Okay, at this point only we need to swap it. So minimum index, we are just going to say that minimum index is just changed and it is j right now. Okay, so if this condition is going to be correct, or this condition is going to be true, at this time we are just going to swap over here. Okay, I have not explained swapping until now in this channel, so we'll create separate video for this also. Right now I am going to explain you proper array of minimum index. Okay, then next thing we are having array of I. Okay, now when I am talking about swapping, I want the array of I should be minimum index, and minimum index should be I. Okay, so for that we have to create another variable that is going to be temporary variable, and minimum index should be stored inside that. Okay, now when this value is empty, we have to store inside it array of I. Don't forget to give semicolon over here. And right now array of I is empty, so it is going to be temporary. So this is this swap. Now we have to print all the loops, we have to check it, so we can just write here print array. We have just created method so that we don't have to write again and again. So print array, print and then array. Okay, we have done it in this way, print, and then we are just going to write array. So we just make one mistake. We don't want here greater, we want the lesser sign. Okay, we want the lesser sign. If array of j is going to be less than the minimum index, for maximum index we can just do another way also. We can just place all the numbers one by one from reverse. Okay, we can just make it reverse, so we can place big index. So just completed this. Now we just have to call this function until and unless it is not going to work. That is the main problem. So selection sort, you have to write here selection sort the method, and you have to pass the array, and that's all. Right now when we are just going to run the code, okay, this is the code you will able to see, and after that we have just sorted this 11, 12, 22, 25, 64. Okay, so we can do here one thing. We are just going to write here array after sorting system dot out dot println new line, and here we are just going to write that sorted array. Okay, sorted array we are just going to write inside this, and right now we are just going to run this, and after running the code, okay, we don't want this. So this was the original array and we have just sorted it, so you can just see the output and what we estimated before that. Instead of writing here one more time print array, I'm just going to remove, so that the one concept is just repeated again and again. So okay, this is going to be 4 iterations over here, and this is the final array which has been sorted over here. You will get the source code inside the description, guys. It does not require any additional storage for the sorting. Okay, because we are just sorting that numbers, we are just replacing those numbers. Okay, in place. Okay, you can just see array in place, so that means we don't have to give any extra space for that. This is the advantage. Time complexity is O of n square. That is inefficient for large data set compared to more advanced algorithms like quicksort and merge sort. So there are more advanced algorithms also, quicksort and merge sort. We are going to see about them as well. In next video we are going to see about the bubble sort, then we are having insertion sort, and then quicksort and merge sort. So all of these sorting algorithms we are just going to see. So get connected with us, like, share and subscribe the channel, and in next video we are going to see about the bubble sort. Thank you guys for watching this video.